Hello, sixth grade. As advertised, I'm going to walk you through the opening steps here to the U-Haul Mini-Project. What I have pulled up is the website where you find all these super graphics, as they're known. These are all the images that are on the sides of U-Haul trucks, as you might have seen before, kind of driving down the road. And with this little miniature research project, you're going to have a couple different parts. One of them is obviously going to be the coloring part, which if you guys remember my room from last year or years previous, we always put these up over on the side by the lockers. So there's the coloring aspect, and then like I said, there's a miniature little research part of it, which is this other document, which is also attached. So I'm going to walk you through a couple of parts here. The first benefit that you all have is you get to pick any U-Haul that you want to do. So when we get to the Super Graphics page, which is this, you guys have the freedom to pick any of these that you want to. That doesn't bother me at all. We'll come back to that here in a second. As far as the documentation, if you all look at this, there are a couple of different parts. To start at the top here, it does give you the Super Graphics link, but if you just Google U-Haul Super Graphics, you'll find them pretty quick. And when you land on one that you really feel like you want to do, all of this other information goes along with it. Okay, so like I said, let me just walk you through here and I'll use a few examples. But the first thing is once you've picked it, within this box, I just want a basic description of your U-Haul graphic. So kind of your first impressions. Okay, so if I go over here and I'll just pick Arkansas as our example for this one. Okay, if you decide that Arkansas is the one that you want to do and you're looking at this image, your first answer there for your basic description is pretty much what you see. So you can be like, well, I see something that looks very similar to a volcano. I see diamonds in the background. I see maybe like a magnifying glass or something right here. And that's it, right? That's your description as far as the basic description goes. So that's pretty easy. The next part down here is if your graphic has a did you know question, answer it here. Now, this is where we get into the little bit of research part because depending on what state you pick or what graphic you pick, there may or may not be a did you know question, and a lot of them have a did you know question, so it shouldn't be very many that don't. But here's what I mean by the did you know. If you look at this did you know section down here, sometimes there's a very straightforward fact, and other times there's an actual question that you have to find the answer to. So in this case, let's just see what it says. Did you know that the crater of Diamond State Park is the only place in the world where people can keep the gems they find? An average of 3 diamonds per day are unearthed. Okay, so in this particular case, the did you know is just kind of like a fact. And if that is the case, all you have to do is write that did you know fact in this space. For other ones, as an example, if there's a did you know actual question, okay, and I'll take a look at one here really quick and just see if I can find a did you know question. Okay, I'll try Connecticut. Okay, so here it says, what happened to the mysterious plant that left only its footprints? That type of did you know is an actual question to where you're going to find the information when we dig into this learn more tab. Okay, so back to the main document here again. You got your basic description. Your did you know is either the answer to a question or just write in that did you know fact. And now this last part is the 1, 2, and the 3, kind of like the breakdown of the little miniature research here. Okay. First one says write a summary of what your graphic is showing. Now this is a little bit more of a detailed answer for this first question because as the example goes here, I'll use this dinosaur one. Now is where you have to be specific. Okay, learning some of the information from your learn more tabs down here. I want to know maybe what's up with these footprints. I want to know what's maybe going on with this measurement over here. So that's where you're going to have to do a little bit of the research. And I'll just go ahead and show you all that if you click on this learn more tab, you will see, depending on which one you do, a couple different folders, a couple different links, maybe a couple different pages. So there's all kinds of different ways that you could find this information. Okay. But going back to this document here, just a summary of all what's going on in the graphic, depending on what they have. Number 2 says explain why this image was chosen for your particular state, which is a pretty easy concept because if you go back to the image itself, you will clearly see that it is attached to one state. So in this case, this one is attached to the state of Connecticut. I want to know specifically why that image was attached to that state. That's the big picture item, to be honest, my friends, because it usually says right here a hint. Is there some archaeological find there? Is there a national park or a state park where these things can be found? Are they known for inventing something? So there's a lot of different reasons why these images go with their specific states, and you definitely need to figure out why. All right, and the last bit here, give general information about things you found interesting related to this topic or this graphic. And I'll just go ahead and tell you all, this is kind of like a free write, but you do have to have something. Okay, so after looking up your information, let's say you were doing California, clearly I want to know some things you found interesting or some fact or facts that you found to be interesting when you did your research, which again, depending on which state you pick, this Learn More tab might look slightly different. So even if you're looking through some of these breakdown or drop down tabs over here, or you're looking at the main page, it's just kind of a come away of what information you found interesting. Okay. On this particular assignment, everybody in class is going to work for a couple of days. So I'm giving you guys that same freedom. Most people are going to do the coloring on one day, or they're going to do the research on one day when they work in class. For you guys, I'll leave that up to your best judgment. So this is technically what you all could be working on both Wednesday and Thursday. As far as the coloring sheet goes, let me show you all a trick here. When you pick the one that you want to do and you actually get to the coloring sheet, I'll go back out here. There is actually a place for you to click on it. So see, if you were going to do Alaska and you go down here and it says coloring book, you want to click the coloring book link to actually get. And you might have to do what I'm doing and go and open it as a PDF. But when it opens, it's going to look more like a coloring page, such as this, as opposed to something that's already filled in. Okay, so that's how you get to your coloring page. Again, the link for this document is going to be attached to the Google Classroom. So you have all the parts. So you got your coloring part, you choose whichever state you want to do. You have the little mini research part, which again is based off of whatever state you pick. And if you guys have any questions about the did you know or how you're supposed to get to things again or what things to click on, feel free to email me. But for now, as I said, this is kind of a 2-day project for most people that are in school right now. So I'm going to give you guys that freedom as well. Okay. Definitely stay safe and be well out there. And I will talk to you all here very soon. All right. Bye bye.